to the consent, let's move on to the approval of the June 16th, 2026 meeting agenda. Now, there's a little bit of stunt flying coming, but maybe that's in the consent agenda. We're moving something out of the consent to the regular agenda.
There's a few updates for each night, so I'll go over them. And if you have questions, you can certainly let me know. So we have three changes or updates to tonight's agenda or recommendations for the council. The first one would be to add an item to the consent agenda as item H, and this would be for appointment to the Human Rights Commission. There's a few of them in there. The next addition would be our voucher disbursement report to other business item 11A. That was given to council earlier. It's also printed out, and it was sent in an email earlier. Similarly to the consent agenda I just mentioned, that was also updated on the council packet. It's printed up over there and for council tonight. And then the last recommendation would be to move consent item F, which is the Whiz Bang Days Committee event request, to new business item D.
Okay. Council, any comments, questions, moves you'd like to make, or is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Hearing
okay.
none, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the amendments noted by staff.
Second.
It's making me nervous. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no or nay. Tonight's agenda has been approved. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. Pursuant to council rules, one motion, non-debatable, will approve the recommendation noted. Any member of the council may ask for an item to be taken from the consent agenda for discussion and separate action. Such items removed from the consent agenda shall be considered immediately following approval of the balance of the consent agenda. Staff, council, anything you'd like to add, edit, remove?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull item H for discussion.
Okay. Well, item H. Council, any other moves? Is there an approval to our motion to approve the balance of the agenda sans item H?
So moved. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Okay, so what did we approve? We approved the city council meeting minutes from June 2nd, 2026. We authorized the city manager to do three things here. First is to execute an agreement with the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency to accept local climate action planning grant funds. And then we authorized the city manager to execute an agreement with the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency to accept local climate implementation grant funds. And then we authorized the city manager to execute an agreement with the Minnesota Metropolitan Council and accept water efficiency grant funds. We approved a quote for mill and overlay work. We approved licenses, and that is, and then we moved the other two items out. So that's it. Okay, item H, appointments to the Human Rights Commission.
Thank you. Yes, I pulled this one. I didn't get the opportunity to participate in the recent discussion last week from the work session. So I wanted to, first of all, thank everyone who applied for the Human Rights Commission. I think the fact that we have more applicants than openings is a strong sign of community engagement, and I appreciate each person's willingness to serve. And based on past precedent outlined in the memo and the applicants of the three individuals recommended, I am supportive of their appointment tonight and appreciate the work that went into bringing those recommendations forward. At the same time, though, I think the process has highlighted some policy gaps that I think we need to address. So for the first time, we're navigating a situation where we have more demand than vacancies on the HRC. And much of that process seems to rely on informal precedent rather than clear written standards. So that can create some confusion and frustration for applicants and decision makers alike. So moving forward, I would like us to review and formalize the application and appointment process. So things like timelines, selection criteria, application expectations, and reappointment standards so that we can ensure greater clarity, consistency, and transparency for everybody. So this isn't about changing who gets appointed today, but rather focusing on improving the process for the future. So with that, I would like staff, commission, and council leadership to enter a discussion with the goal of bringing forward a written appointment framework or policy recommendation so that we can establish clear expectations before the next appointment cycle. So what I can commit to in that spirit is providing staff a written outline of this request and the suggested areas for clarification, including the timeline, criteria, and process details. So again, thanks for keeping me up to speed with a lot of correspondence while I had missed the work session, but I wanted to take a moment to highlight some of my thoughts on the process and again, focusing more on the policy expectations itself.
Okay. Councilmember Greenberg.
Yeah, thank you for that, Councilmember Parisian. I agree with the sentiment. The one thing tonight we're talking about the Human Rights Commission, but I think, and I don't know if you specifically called that out, but that it should apply, whatever we decide should apply across all of our commissions. So it's consistent across all of the commissions that we work with and that advise the city council.
Agreed. Thank you.
I'm supportive of revamping the entire application process for all commissions. Any other comments?
I would also say I'm supportive of that, and I would kind of look upon Tim to see what that process might look like to bring this up at a future work session or what.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I guess beyond the formal action we're requesting here tonight, I'm hearing some agreements upon Councilmember Parisian, not to put you on the spot, is committed to suggesting some framework. I would note staff has proposed, at least at a high level, a couple of the things I think we're discussing, so certainly happy to share that with you or lean on that, or ultimately look forward to whatever you send over. From there, what staff would suggest doing, we're happy to put together. I think, again, what I'm sensing is a consensus in a framework consistent across commissions, while each commission has a different charge and service. I think what we're hoping for is to be inclusive in the process, promote equity, while unintentional, remove some of those systemic barriers. Not that they occur in a bad way, but just cleaning things up, as it were. So that, Councilmember Aranda, if that answers your question, staff would be happy to review and then make recommendations to clean things up.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Tim.
Okay. Did you have anything to add?
No, I agree. So I think we're on the same page.
Okay. So we're going to discuss the process and clean up the application process. Is there a motion to approve tonight's appointments?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. Congratulations. Welcome to the HRC. All right.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
You may want to, since they weren't formally read off, read the names off just for your
I mean, we could
appreciation.
do that, I guess. Kind of a nice thing to do. Tim, keeping me honest. Appreciate it. All right. So that is Catherine Jones, and I believe I met her. Hello, Catherine. Arminda Carlson Viana. Is she here? No? Okay. And Teresa Carlisle. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your interest and being a part of the process. That was fun. Got a little applause there. That was great. All right. Next up, under presentations, we have the Juneteenth proclamation.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. So, like we have done in some recent meetings, the City Staff DEI Committee, continues to promote various things throughout the year. We proposed a slate to you at the start of the year. Council gave support and included recognition of Juneteenth Freedom Day proclamation. I know council is always eager to share some of these out. We did use some language through some national efforts, and do know that at the back end of the meeting, we traditionally shared out some opportunities to be active in the community, but staff is always happy to support this and get this in front of council. Certainly happy to respond to any questions or comments.
Council, any questions or comments?
Start.
Councilmember Parisian?
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Council. Thank you, staff, for putting this forward. I'm always happy to support the Juneteenth proclamation and wishing everyone a very happy Juneteenth this Friday. I would also, as I usually do, like to share some opportunities on how to celebrate and honor Juneteenth. So I wanted to highlight something happening in a nearby city. There's a Juneteenth celebration being held by the city of Brooklyn Park, and that is happening on Saturday, June 20th, from 1 to 4 p.m. at North Hennepin Community College. It's actually a multi-day event, so if you're a golfer, I know they're doing a golf event on Friday, on Juneteenth, and at the Juneteenth celebration on Saturday, some of the things that you can expect are live performances, cultural programming, food trucks, community resource fair, and youth and family activities. So I wanted to highlight that as an opportunity to recognize and celebrate Juneteenth. But otherwise, yes, thank you again to staff for putting this together. I'm very happy to support.
Excellent. Thanks, ma'am. Anybody else? Okay. Is there a motion?
I will make a motion to adopt the proclamation announcing 2026 Juneteenth Freedom Day proclamation in the city of Robbinsdale.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. All right. Proclamation has been approved. Excellent. Moving on to, sorry, where did we put the whiz bang? Was that under D? D, new business, D. Okay, good. Whew. All right, public hearings, I got none. Old business, there is none. But new business, got a few items here. So, new business item A, authorize staff to issue RFP for climate action plan consulting services.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. So what you have in front of you, this is several months in the build-up. You'll recall going back to last summer when the Sustainability Committee was in front of you, one of the recommendations was to go forward with this or similar type of effort. At the time, I think a fair question was asked, recognizing that comparable communities doing this type of work, how would we pay for it? What staff often recommends in those types of situations that if an advisory capacity group makes recommendation to council that this is a priority, we will take that as direction to try and figure it out. In this case, we had some success. Not surprisingly, but we're certainly happy to share that opportunity out. As noted here, the city is being awarded $49,950 from the MPCA for a local climate action planning process. And in order to ensure that we're going through the right channels, we would like to issue an RFP or a request for proposals for consulting services to do that work. That gives us as staff an opportunity to review what the work would look like. We're certainly aware of what some other communities and those consulting groups may have done, but we want something unique and that will be most efficient for the city of Robbinsdale. So again, here tonight, what we're asking for is council to authorize staff to issue a request for proposals for climate action plan consulting services for the city of Robbinsdale.
Thanks, Tim. If I may, can I ask a question around getting this grant? Was this who secured this grant for us? Did somebody kind of search it out and did the paperwork to do it?
Mr. Mayor, Council, huge kudos goes out to Ms. Kurtz, our sustainability coordinator. Continues to have a lot of success in finding that special revenue. Certainly, we remain opportunistic as sometimes these things have very short windows. Again, maybe reflecting back to last summer when the request or the priority was identified through that committee recommendation and council agreed with, it's not an immediate actionable item because that funding is not immediately available. But as those things come forward to us, we dedicate those resources as appropriate, and here we were successful.
Excellent. So Kayla strikes again, gets us another grant. I'm gonna take a small victory lap here for Kayla. I don't know if you know the number off the top of your head, Tim, but how much grant money has she went and found for the city?
Mr. Mayor, Council, I'd be happy to get you a hard number. I would say over the last 18 months, at least $200,000.
That's excellent. That's money we don't have to spend. That's fantastic.
Back in plain night.
All right. Kayla, if you're out there listening, thank you. She's probably not. Well, all right. Is any other questions or comments?
I guess I just had one quick question. So thanks for all the work. Thanks to Kayla for getting this grant funding. As we send out an RFP, it talks about our budget, which is related to the grant funding. Is it possible that we get back responses that don't fall within the budget, or do you anticipate that what we're asking for is reasonable within this budget?
Good question.
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Greenberg, I think a fair question. My assumption going into this, we'll likely get back quotes that would fall within the parameters that we define, and that would be the number listed here. With that, I would be willing to guess some consulting services may offer appendices or extensions. Sometimes these types of documents get updated every couple of years, so with a caveat of we'll do the work here and now for X, in the future revisit for Y. But yeah, we would advertise to fall within this number.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. No questions or comment? Is there a motion?
Yeah. I can make a motion to authorize staff to issue requests for proposals for climate action plan consulting services for the city of Robbinsdale.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. So let it be done. Okay. Next up is the Cities for Safe and Stable Communities Coalition.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council, I'll give a brief introduction, and Mr. Mayor, I will lean on you just a bit as well. Back at the start of the year, the city of Robbinsdale, much like others, were faced with unprecedented federal immigration enforcement issues. I frame it up as issues around good governance. Part of the success that we were able to have was joining with this coalition. We saw initially some larger cities really kick this up, and well, it took us a couple of weeks to get formally involved. We did find some of those successes, certainly at the staff level, and again, would want to lean on the mayor to share his experience. But following, in April and May, city managers met to discuss ongoing efforts, in part to keep the facilitator or the contractor on. Some of the organizational pieces are just capacities that we don't have as a city. At current, for another 12 months, it depends on cities who may join, who may not. We're looking in the $2,000 to $3,000 range, which we think is an excellent bang for your buck, so to speak, that going forward, just to have this framework at the ready. Staff does support. The mayor and I were able to join a group of a couple of dozen other cities, and again, maybe where I'll kick over to the mayor, where I think we have some of that success is that continued effort with these other groups. So maybe I can come back and share out again what our ask is here tonight, but while the contract isn't at the ready, when it does become ready, staff is recommending the city manager, or authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with the CSSC for Robbinsdale to continue to participate as a full member.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. So for those of you that don't know what it is, the Cities for Safe and Stable, or the Coalition for Safe and Stable Communities, is this came out of Operation Metro Surge, and it is a non-partisan group, which is why I particularly like this. So as you know, that was not well executed. There was a lot of fallout. We lost trust in local government. There was expenses. I mean, we had our own officers covering for North Minneapolis during that, and that, that's overtime work that Robbinsdale pays for. So there is a definite impact not only to the city budget, but also like our business community and whatnot. So this coalition was put together to have a voice. One city, unless you're St. Paul or Minneapolis, probably isn't going to get the attention that multiple cities will coming together, and that's what this coalition is all about. It's also all about sharing information and getting ahead of policies. And then, if there is federal action that might destabilize, the community. We want to be able to talk to each other and share what we're each working on, so we're not overlapping. And the whole idea is not to fight what the federal government is doing. The whole idea behind this is just to be lawful, make sure that we're lawful here, but then also just we're operating within the law, and we're communicating with each other. So, an example of the work that we did is, the cities got together, wrote a letter, and I'd like to believe that our collective voices helped end the surge or have it wind down whilst cooler heads prevailed. And so this was a good thing. This was a good thing that we joined. I know we had the separation ordinance going on in the background, but this is something also that really kind of took action and created a voice for all of us here in the cities. And it's a coalition that, I tell you, Tim, we were chasing it, trying to get on board, because it started with just a couple of mayors talking about it. And then finally, word of mouth got around. You had to grab somebody by the shirt and say, I want to participate in this too, because we need a voice as well. So that's what the coalition is all about. I didn't go over any of the talking points like I'm supposed to, but I just wanted to kind of give it to you in my own words. Tim, is there anything you'd clean up on that? Or
Mr. Mayor, Council, I guess just would point out again, is included in your memo here, the intention would be to sort of, in a slower version, we're not going to be active, be some routine checking in, but to have the framework ready to go in the case that it's needed. Again, we don't want the thing to completely dissolve, and staff is making that recommendation if we do jump in at a very a minimal cost. I think some has described it as an insurance policy, again, to promote good governance at the local level.
Yeah. Well, really minimal cost. Council, any questions? Comments?
Yeah, I have a couple comments. I think this is great. I think this is one of those things that bring the local cities closer to one another. So thank you, Tim. Thank you, Mayor, for taking the lead on that. I would kind of just wonder, I know this is like super new. A lot of cities are joining on as time goes on, but what's kind of the end result in terms of like, is there going to be some sort of formal, I don't know, where the coalition gets together and develops, policy recommendations, whether that's, per their city or at the legislature. I know it's nonpartisan, but I think that the fact that it is nonpartisan gives it more power to actually have a good standing at the legislature. That's just kind of how I see it, but it's super new and it's super exciting, so I'll be closely monitoring it and just seeing what comes of it.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Aranda, not that you asked a question, I think what you brought up is a good point. The group did discuss legislative policy and what that role might be. The group collectively decided, because there are a number of organizations, League of Minnesota Cities, Metro Cities, there are a number of orgs that are already kind of taking on that role, not wanting to be duplicative. So I think it's a great question. We did talk about that, and again, to sort of keep the framework at a price point, if it were. I mean, certainly a driving factor to keep people on board. We'll continue to lean on those other organizations for opportunities like that.
Thank you. That's all I had for questions.
Any other questions, comments?
I mean, I'll just say I'm in support of this and was when we were looking into it, and appreciate the work that staff and the mayor did to make sure Robbinsdale was a part of this, and to bring our voice into the larger group. So thank you.
Okay. Well, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to authorize the city manager to execute an agreement with CSSC for the city of Robbinsdale to participate as a full member.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. All right, we're in. Next up is authorize adoption and implementation of state performance measures.
Mr. Mayor, Council, an item here that is on your annual checklist. In 2010, the Minnesota Legislature created a Council on Local Results and Innovation. This is a group that set forth ultimately in statute that if cities were to adopt and produce a standard measures performance program, think in terms of like a baseline survey from year to year, reimbursement would be available of 14 cents per capita, not to exceed $25,000. So while not a huge sum, staff and council have long supported this, as it's relatively easy, especially now that we have the framework built out. You can see as a part of attachment This, like I say, sort of a benchmark type of survey, goes year to year, shows where we're having some successes, where we're having some challenges. And do want to note out that while we do see ebbs and flows, we believe, there's some online college fatigue with some folks, that some years we have better responses, some years we have worse. Continue to share it out, the opportunity to participate through our normal communication channels. Certainly want to build it up again next year. The other piece, and I know the mayor has been supportive of this, when we issued this, again, we have to do it within a time frame per statute, providing some type of more robust type of survey for residents. And I know something that the mayor wants to speak on just a little bit, not here for an actionable item, but as we segue into later months. So staff does recommend that you do authorize the adoption through resolution for that state performance measures. But before you get there, maybe the mayor would like to speak on going forward.
Yeah, we talked about this a bit at the work session, and unfortunately, I just think we're out of time to be able to execute on it. But I'd like to see us collect more data on residents and just, understand who is responding to the survey and what the experiences are by residents, whether you're a renter or you're a homeowner, what your demographic background is, and then maybe try to sense out some of the things that might help us go into. I don't know if we could maybe talk about something at the end of the year that helps us kind of go into the goals and priorities session, so we got the voice of residents in our ears, helping inform that. But I think the more data, the better. Around the survey fatigue, I get that, and I wonder what causes that, because in my world we deal with the same thing. And I think the important thing is that whether it's an employee listening exercise or a resident listening exercise, whenever you ask people for feedback, you got to do something with it. And so that's the main thing, is let's make sure we're utilizing this and then reporting out what we're doing with it. So that's my 2 cents. Anybody have anything to add or question? Okay.
I will make a motion to authorize the adoption and implementation of state performance measures.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. All right, adopted. Next up is new item D, Whiz Bang Days Committee event requests. As we look down the aisle, we need some walk-up music.
Good evening. I'm Becky Schwartz. I'm the Whiz Bang Days president, and I keep losing my voice. I'm going to pass off the presentation today.
My name is Nick Sheeler. I am a director with Robbinsdale Whiz Bang Days. To start, you guys should have received the letter for you guys to approve. There were 2 minor mistakes I just wanted to clarify. When it talks about the closure of West Broadway for Saturday, it lists 41st Avenue to 41st Avenue. That would be a very small area for us to fit everything in, so it should be 42nd Avenue up to 41st, which is the exit for the Walgreens drive-through. The other error was the city band concert was moved from Saturday. It is now Friday night. Other than that, I wanted to highlight the big events that we have. We've added a couple new events this year. The biggest one being the block party. With the success of the kids market on West Broadway, we have decided to extend the closure of West Broadway to basically all day Saturday. So EMI stepped up, and they're actually sponsoring a band for us to be playing on West Broadway on a stage out there that evening. Along with that, there's been a couple other businesses, Marna's and Birdhouse. They're going to have some activities up on the street with the hot dog eating contest. Rosada's having a spaghetti eating contest. So we're able to utilize some of that space and expand more than what their patios would typically allow. Other new events that we're adding this year, another big one which has actually been kicked off already, is our medallion hunt. That's running all the way through the Sunday of Whiz Bang. If for some reason it's not found, that's something we're going to continue and roll into next year. As far as very popular events that we brought in last year, we had the garden tour last year that was very successful. That's going into its 2nd year. Like I mentioned, the kids market, brought that in last year, very successful. Heard nothing but great things from anybody we talked to about it. So we have them coming back. And then the 2 new other events I'll bring up. One, the Lions are doing a pub crawl Friday. of Whiz Bang. And then the city is actually putting on a blood drive that we were looking at doing anyways, so we're just kind of partnered with them. So it'll be a blood drive the first Thursday of the first day of Whiz Bang. But that's kind of the highlights, unless you guys have any questions.
Well, I know the Lions do the hot dogs too. And the
Yes.
hamburgers, so
Yes, they will be selling hot dogs and brats Thursday and Friday.
that's at the Wart.
Yep, they'll be on the Wicked Ward patio, same place as last year.
Cool. This is great. I mean, there's so much excitement around Whiz Bang. There always is, but it's really like this year, people are really like getting giddy about it. And I don't know, like, do you feel it? I mean, have you guys felt any of this? I'm serious. It's like, I mean, people are excited.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me.
I think rumors of something on West Broadway for the event has garnered a lot of excitement.
Yeah.
So I will agree
Yeah,
with you on that.
it's taken. We've been working very closely with Tim. He's been a great partner. It's gone through several variations, we'll say, before it reached its current state. The ideal end state would be getting a social district, which again we've been working on that with Tim and getting that to the state legislature. But talking to all the businesses down there, they've all been very supportive and very on board, just getting people downtown and into their business.
Now, just one personal comment as the mayor here. Last year was my first Whiz Bang as mayor, and boy, let me tell you, there was a lot of things I didn't know I had to do. So there was events that I missed. Apparently, I was judging a car show.
You can do as much
No
or as
idea.
little as you'd like.
Came in hot to give some comments at the coronation. So the ambassadors. So if there's somebody that could just be on a point of contact, just be like, you need to be here when, I would love that. Okay, you see me?
We'll let Becky reach out to you.
Awesome, fantastic. Otherwise, I mean, it was all wonderful. This is like the highlight of our year here. It's so great. So
Yeah, we're excited. July 9th through the 12th. It's coming up quick.
fantastic. Congrats on doing a great job with
Thank you.
with Whiz Bang.
Yeah.
And I don't know, is there any action? Oh yeah, we've got to approve. We've got to approve a lot of stuff. All right. Well, I'll let somebody read off the motion.
Okay, I can make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the request for Robbinsdale Whiz Bang Days activities and locations from Thursday, July 9th through Sunday, July 12th as follows. Approve use of city parks as requested and reserved through the Rec Services Department. Approve alcohol permit allowing participants to bring their own beverages, beer, to the Wood Bat Softball Tournament and Bags Tournament only. Approve blocking West Broadway from 41st Ave North to 41st and a half Ave North for the Kids Market, leaving Walgreens Pharmacy clear for exiting, as well as maintaining emergency vehicle access at all times. Removal of all stages, tables, etc. at end of event prior to reopening the roadway to general traffic. Approve the street spanning Whiz Bang Days banner, subject to requirements of the city code, and waive the $100 permit fee. The $100 permit fee. Approve the request to have the parade on Sunday, July 12th, starting on West Broadway at 42nd Avenue, then south on West Broadway to 40th Avenue, then east to Shoreline Drive, and ending at Sanborn Park with appropriate traffic controls at all times. Approve fireworks for Sunday, July 12th at approximately 10 p.m. to be launched over Crystal Lake from Lakeview Terrace Park with shell casings and any other remaining firework debris cleaned up and disposed of at the end of the display to avoid lake pollution and littering. The Whiz Bang Days Committee or business holding events on their sites must provide and pay for portable sanitation units near each event location. Noise levels must be kept at a reasonable volume, and entertainment at any location must take direction from police officers to adjust volume if requested. Finally, waive city license fees for Whiz Bang Days events.
I don't know about that one.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Approved. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good stuff. All right. Other business, voucher requests, pending approval for disbursements. Staff, council, comments, questions, concerns? Pay the bills? Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve disbursement request for the period ending in 6/16/2026.
Second.
Go ahead.
That's all right. You guys did it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no or nay. Okay, approved. Administrative reports.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I've got two for you tonight. I just want to first wish everyone a happy Juneteenth and a meaningful Juneteenth, and just also note that our city offices are closed on Friday because of that. And then also want to just reiterate, at the last council meeting, the council decided to move from 46 days of early voting at City Hall to 18 days of early voting at City Hall, which just basically means that people looking to start voting next Friday can do that either in person at the Hennepin County Government Center, or they can certainly do mail-in ballots too during that first initial 28 days. So I know we have some information out there in communication, but just wanted to reiterate, if you're looking to be the first one to vote, you're going to have to do that at the Government Center on the 26th. So those are my updates for tonight.
Mayor, Council, a few quick updates from me. I do want to call out Robbinsdale was recently in the news for some PFAS testing. We have shared out some materials on the city website. If people have questions about what's going on, just a bit of a backstory. About 2 years ago, state agencies updated thresholds for PFAS in water at 4 parts per trillion. City water kind of sits around about 6 parts per trillion, so requires a future plan to mitigate as we go forward. Council has certainly been attuned to the process. A big win for the city was to go out and be successful in securing more than $2.5 million to do some sort of exploratory understanding of where the actual chemical is coming from. I think there are other communities that it's easier to point to, not to pick on these larger agencies, but maybe in the East Metro, it's easier to identify where some of these things are coming from. What the city's doing now is getting close to wrapping up a process both through our wells at different depths and also in a couple places with surface water to see if we can identify higher contamination levels. From there, over the next couple of years, a proposal for mitigation will go before council. So that's kind of what's going on in the background right now. Again, we've dedicated some space on the city website, but after taking a look, or beforehand certainly, if you have questions about what's going on, please reach out to city staff. Some items upcoming in order here. We are looking for some volunteers for the rain garden planting on the 20th, a LVT cleanup event on June 22nd. Of course, whiz-bang the 9th through the 12th. Want to give a shout out, as was noted, to some city staff who took on doing a blood drive on the 9th, so we're excited to make that a success. The Robbinsdale Rain Garden Bike Tour, a new event this summer, will be on the 14th of July, Pets in the Park on the 23rd of July. The Public Safety Open House gets us into August. And then do want to share out, unfortunately, for those not aware, the community gym will be closing at the end of August. This is something, it's a school facility. We've been working with them for a number of years, working on sort of a shared services agreement. And with the city not having a facility like this, it's been a great opportunity to partner. Unfortunately, that decision-making was outside of our control. What we will do going forward, we've kicked the tires on a few different opportunities. Again, not having immediate space, we don't have a response for a one-for-one. But again, August 30th will be the final day at the community gym. And for those who were let down this last weekend with the movie in the park, with everything going on this summer, that has been moved to mid-September. We'll get that advertisement out as we get closer.
Excellent. Thank you, Tim. Council. General communications. Anything to...
I'll be brief. Yes.
Okay.
Just as always, to say hi to your neighbors. Summertime is fully in effect now for students, and there'll be a lot more kids out in the community. So let's be mindful around, that happening and taking place, and say hi to your neighbors.
Okay. I'm gonna flip over to this side. Nothing from me. Nothing from okay.
I have a thing.
Jason, can you...
So we've been having more town halls, which is exciting, and I think it's great to get community feedback. And in addition to that, we're having some more informal meetings with residents. So next Wednesday from 6 to 7:30, I plan to be at Pig Ate My Pizza with Assistant City Manager and Councilmember Caceres Aranda. So we will be there. If you want to come and chat with us, we'll be available. If you have questions, if you want to talk about Ward 2 or really anything going on in Robbinsdale, we're up for that. And then I also want to say this last weekend was Golden Valley Pride. It was a great event, a beautiful day. And I want to say thank you to city staff that were involved and a lot of community members who participated. The Human Rights Commission was there. I know the mayor was there as well, and residents who were doing hugs. So I know it was impactful for a lot of people, and it was a great day. So thanks to all the support that that happened.
That was great. Thanks, Jason.
That's it for me.
Well, it's going to be hard to believe, but our next meeting is going to be the week of Whizbang. It feels like it's a month away, but it's not. So between now and then is the July 4th holiday, and I just want to wish everybody a happy 250th year birthday for the United States of America. And I'll say, the great thing about 250 years only comes around once, and so the way I look at it, it's like a birthday, right? There's a lot to be proud of, and sure, there's things that you got to fix, but there's always, hope to look forward and look ahead, and that's really what I think the celebration should be about. So whatever you do it safely, and have a great rest of your June, and we'll see you on the 7th, and then 8th, 10th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, walking around Robbinsdale for Whizbang. So, all right, with that, is there a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no or nay. Meeting adjourned.